Have you ever found yourself in the deafening silence of a room after a message goes unread and wondered if your very worth was hanging in that quiet abyss? Have you felt that hot, sharp sting of jealousy when witnessing another woman's success and secretly questioned your own magic? Or have you faced the slamming door of rejection, whether in love or ambition, and felt the foundation of your identity tremble? These moments are not random misfortunes, they are sacred crucibles, designed to test the very core of your sovereignty. They are the battlegrounds where a woman either relinquishes her power or claims her crown. And the difference lies not in avoiding these trials, but in understanding the profound psychological and spiritual mechanics at play within them. Welcome back to Feminine Queen, the channel dedicated to the art of embodying your most powerful, graceful, and authentic self. Today we are not merely talking about feelings, we are embarking on a deep expedition into the architecture of the female psyche, guided by the unparalleled insights of Carl Jung. We will explore how a truly happy and empowered woman, a feminine queen, handles the universal challenges of silence, jealousy, and rejection. This is not about learning coping mechanisms, it is about alchemical transformation. It's about understanding that these experiences are not punishments from the universe, but potent invitations to cultivate a resilience so profound, a self-awareness so sharp, that your inner peace becomes unshakable. You are a feminine queen, and your reign is forged in the very fires that others flee. Our journey today will illuminate the path from reaction to response, from feeling like a victim of circumstance to becoming the architect of your inner world. We will integrate the profound wisdom of Carl Jung's psychology with the unyielding strength of Stoic principles, creating a practical philosophy for the modern woman who leads with grace and rules with wisdom. You will learn to see silence not as absence, but as an audience with your soul, jealousy not as a flaw, but as a compass pointing toward your own hidden gold, and rejection not as a verdict, but as a divine redirection. This is the work that turns a woman into a legend in her own life, building a throne of inner authority that no external force can ever topple. 1. Silence is the throne room of sovereignty. A feminine queen does not fear the void. She understands that silence is the most sacred space she can inhabit. It is her personal throne room, the chamber where the clamor of the external world and the anxious chatter of the ego are finally hushed. Carl Jung taught that it is in these moments of profound quiet that the unconscious mind is given permission to speak. It doesn't use words, but communicates through potent symbols, intuitive flashes, and the deep, resonant feelings that bubble up from your core. When someone leaves you in silence, when the world stops providing you with distraction, it is an initiation. The immature part of the psyche panics, screaming to be validated, to have the space filled by another. But the queen leans back on her throne. She knows this silence is a mirror, reflecting not her lack of worth, but her unmet needs and unvoiced truths. She doesn't ask, "Why are they ignoring me?" Instead, she turns inward with regal curiosity and asks, "What is this stillness trying to show me about myself?" This is where the Stoic principle of inner command becomes her scepter. She cannot control the silence of others, but she has absolute dominion over her response to it. She uses that sacred pause not to spiral into anxiety, but to listen deeply, to integrate the whispers of her soul, and to emerge not wounded, but wiser and more deeply connected to the source of her own power. 2. Jealousy is a crown in disguise. That sudden venomous bite of jealousy you feel when you see another woman shining is not a sign of your wickedness or inadequacy. It is a sacred alarm, a distress signal from the most magnificent, unlived parts of your own soul. According to Carl Jung's framework, this intense emotional reaction is often a projection of your own shadow. the repository of all the brilliant qualities you have disowned or repressed in order to be deemed acceptable, safe, or humble. When you look at another woman's unapologetic confidence, her radiant freedom, or her bold success, the envy you feel is your own shadow crying out, "That brilliance is mine too. Why have you left me in the dark?" A feminine queen does not shame herself for this feeling. She reveres it as invaluable intelligence. She has the courage to hold that jealousy up to the light and decode its message. She asks not, "What does she have that I don't?" but the far more powerful question, "What do I see in her that I have refused to see and cultivate in myself?" Perhaps it's the ambition you were taught was unladylike, the sensuality you were told to tame, or the fierce boundaries you were afraid to enforce. Here she applies a core Stoic discipline, transforming a destructive passion into a constructive action. The external event, another's success, is beyond her control. But her internal response is her kingdom. She alchemizes the poison of envy into the potent fuel for her own becoming, using it to reclaim the exiled parts of her magnificence and polish her own crown. Third, rejection is the universe redirecting your reign. Understand this fundamental truth. A queen's value is not determined by a popular vote. Rejection, no matter how personal it feels, is never a definitive statement about your worth. It is merely a data point, a cosmic course correction from a universe that sees a grander path for you than the one you were on. Carl Jung posited the existence of the self, the total integrated psyche, which operates from a place of profound wisdom beyond the fragile ego. It is the ego that feels the sting of rejection, that crumbles into the desperate plea, "Why don't they want me?" The self, however, remains untouched, serene, and all-knowing. For the feminine queen, a closed door is not a judgment, it is a divine intervention. She has trained her mind to see rejection not as abandonment, but as liberation. It frees her from a person, a job, or a situation that was ultimately too small to contain the next, more expansive version of her reign. This is where her Stoic resilience shines. She recognizes that the opinions and choices of others are fundamentally outside of her control. Her focus is not on what she has lost, but on what she has gained, the freedom to realign with her true purpose. Instead of mourning the throne she thought she wanted in another's kingdom, she stands taller and asks, "What greater territory does this now free me to conquer within myself?" She knows her sovereignty was never up for negotiation. It was, and always will be, an internal state of being. Number 4. The shadow is your loyal advisor, not your enemy. In a world that pressures women to be all light and sweetness, a feminine queen knows her true power lies in her wholeness, and that includes her darkness. Carl Jung's concept of the shadow is one of the most empowering tools at your disposal. The shadow contains all the parts of yourself that you have deemed unacceptable and exiled from your conscious personality, your rage, your primal desires, your raw ambition, your capacity for fierce self-protection. Society may have taught you to fear these aspects, but a queen understands they are not her enemies. They are her most loyal, albeit brutally honest, advisors. She doesn't try to vanquish her shadow. She invites it into her court for counsel. With regal compassion, she questions it. What vital power have I hidden away in the name of being nice? What truth is my anger trying to defend? What desire have I shamed that actually points to my deepest calling? Integrating the shadow doesn't mean becoming a bad person. It means becoming a whole and formidable one. This is the ultimate practice of self-mastery. It is the Stoic virtue of wisdom in action. The ability to look unflinchingly at the entirety of one's nature and harness every part of it for a virtuous and powerful life. By embracing her shadow, the feminine queen stops being a fragmented, people-pleasing subject and becomes an integrated, sovereign ruler of her own inner world. Her darkness, once integrated, doesn't eclipse her light. It gives it breathtaking depth and dimension. 5. Emotional storms are initiation rites. A feminine queen does not see her emotions as liabilities. She sees them as powerful, intelligent energy systems that provide critical information. Where others are taught to suppress, numb, or hysterically express their feelings, she has learned to metabolize them. She understands that emotional storms are not punishments to be endured, but sacred initiation rites to be honored. Carl Jung warned that emotions that are not made conscious and integrated do not simply disappear. They fester in the unconscious, creating anxiety, depression, and neurosis. A queen, therefore, does not run from the storm. She finds its eye. She allows herself to feel the full force of grief, knowing it is carving her heart into a vessel capable of holding more profound joy. She honors the fire of her anger, recognizing it as the sacred guardian of her boundaries. She sits with the ache of longing, understanding it as her soul's reminder of her deepest purpose. This is a profound act of stoic courage, facing what is uncomfortable and disturbing without being broken by it. She knows she cannot control the arising of an emotion, but she can control her relationship to it. She doesn't let the wave of sadness drown her. She learns to surf it, extracting its wisdom and power. Her tears are not a sign of weakness. They are a baptism, a liquid wisdom that washes away illusion and waters the deep roots of her unbreakable resilience. All right, my feminine queens. Before we delve deeper into this incredible journey of self-sovereignty, I need to take a moment to honor the very heart of this channel, you. Your presence, your powerful energy in the comments, your likes and your shares are what breathe life into this community. We are building a kingdom of empowered women together, and that wouldn't be possible without you. So if you are finding true value and resonance in this message, please continue to flow that energy back by subscribing to Feminine Queen and hitting that notification bell. Share this video with another queen who needs to hear it. Your support is the ultimate act of sisterhood, and I will love you forever for it. Now let's continue building our thrones. 6. The archetype of the queen is your birthright. In the vast landscape of the human psyche, Carl Jung identified powerful universal patterns he called archetypes, innate psychic blueprints that shape our experiences and potential. One of the most potent of these is the archetype of the queen. This is not a fantasy or a metaphor. It is a dormant, energetic inheritance residing within you, waiting to be consciously activated. The queen archetype does not operate from a place of force, but from a place of being. She doesn't chase love. Her radiant self-possession magnetizes it. She doesn't demand loyalty. Her integrity and grace inspire it. A feminine queen actively studies and embodies this archetype. It becomes her internal guidance system. In moments of doubt or confusion, she pauses and asks the defining question: how would the queen within me handle this? Would the queen shrink? Would she beg? Would she compromise her values for temporary validation? The answer is always a resounding no. Embodying the queen is a practice of applied stoicism. It is living a life guided by virtue, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, rather than by fleeting emotions or external opinions. You activate this archetype not by seeking a crown from the world, but by recognizing the one that has always existed within your own consciousness. Your birthright is not to be a princess waiting for rescue, but to be a queen ruling the sovereign nation of your own soul. 7. Individuation is the ultimate rebellion. In a society that profits from your insecurity and conformity, the most radical and rebellious act you can commit is to become unapologetically, authentically, yourself. This is the essence of what Carl Jung called individuation, the lifelong psychological process of becoming whole, of integrating the conscious and unconscious parts of your being to form a unique, individuated self. For a feminine queen, individuation is her sacred mission. It is a deliberate and often defiant shedding of all the layers that are not truly her, the expectations of her family, the limiting scripts of society, the roles she was told she should play. She courageously discards the commands to be sweeter, be less intimidating, want less, and take up less space. She understands that people-pleasing is a betrayal of the soul. Every conscious choice she makes, from the books she reads, to the boundaries she sets, to the dreams she dares to pursue, is a revolutionary act. This path requires immense stoic fortitude. It means choosing the discomfort of authenticity over the false comfort of fitting in. It means standing firm in her truth, even when it makes others uncomfortable. She is not seeking to be understood or approved of by everyone. She is seeking to be fully aligned with her own soul. Wholeness, for her, is not a final destination. It is a daily, courageous act of defiance against a world that would prefer she remain fragmented and controllable. 8. Sacred rage is a creative force. A feminine queen's anger is not a messy, hysterical outburst. It is a clean, sacred fire. It is holy. Carl Jung viewed repressed anger as a primary source of psychological distress, a potent force in the shadow that, when ignored, turns inward and becomes depression or erupts in destructive ways. A queen, however, understands the divinity in her rage. She knows it is a powerful messenger, an incorruptible truth-teller that rises when a core value has been dishonored, a boundary has been violated, or an injustice has been witnessed. She does not fear this fire. She has learned to wield it. Instead of suppressing her fury or letting it consume her, she channels it with precision. Her sacred rage becomes the fuel to write a book, to start a movement, to have a terrifyingly honest conversation, to build an empire, or to deliver an unapologetic and final no. This is the embodiment of stoic virtue applied to a powerful emotion. She uses her anger not as a weapon of blind destruction, but as a scalpel for righteous creation and protection. She asks, "What sacred part of my kingdom is this anger rising to defend? What new world is it demanding I build?" Her rage is not chaos. It is clarity in its purest, most primal form, sculpting her reality and carving out a world where her peace and her purpose are non-negotiable. 9. Solitude is where you remember your name. There is a profound difference between the ego's painful experience of loneliness and the soul's nourishing embrace of solitude. Loneliness is the feeling of being abandoned by others. Solitude is the act of coming home to yourself. A feminine queen does not fear being alone. She cultivates solitude as a non-negotiable spiritual practice. She understands that it is in the sanctuary of solitude that she can finally hear her own voice above the noise of the world's demands. Carl Jung spoke of the collective unconscious, a deep reservoir of shared human wisdom and ancestral memory. It is in solitude that a queen can tap into this ancient wellspring, connecting with the lineage of powerful women before her and accessing a knowing that predates her personal conditioning. In these quiet moments, she is not empty. She is in communion with the deepest, wisest parts of herself. She listens to the dreams she had forgotten, the truths she had silenced, and the intuitive guidance she had ignored. This practice builds a bedrock of stoic self-reliance. She learns that her own company is not just tolerable, but deeply enriching and empowering. She doesn't retreat from the world as a wounded animal, but as a sovereign ruler entering her private chambers to strategize, recharge, and remember her own sacred name. 10. Your wounds are the royal seal. Your scars are not proof of your brokenness. They are the intricate, beautiful insignias of your royal seal. They are the undeniable evidence of the battles you have fought and won simply by surviving them. A feminine queen does not wear her past with shame. She wears it as a mantle of authority. Carl Jung taught that trauma can fragment the psyche, creating wounded parts of ourselves that we try to hide. But he also knew that these very wounds, when faced with courage and consciousness, become portals to our greatest strengths and deepest compassion. Every betrayal that taught you the art of discernment, every heartbreak that expanded your capacity for love, every silent night you endured that forged your resilience. These are not defects. They are initiations that have encoded you with a unique and unshakable power. This is the ultimate stoic triumph, taking what was meant to destroy you and transmuting it into the very source of your power. A feminine queen doesn't hide her story, she alchemizes it. Her pain ceases to be a source of shame and becomes her podium, the unshakable ground from which she leads, loves, and teaches. Her wounds are the proof that she has been tested by fire and emerged not as ash, but as a diamond. So what does this all mean for you, my queen? It means that every challenge you face is not a cosmic error, but a curriculum designed for your coronation. The silence, the jealousy, the rejection, these are not obstacles on your path. They are the path itself. They are the divine instruments the universe uses to sculpt you into the sovereign being you were always meant to become. Carl Jung's wisdom illuminates the inner landscape, showing you the psychological gold hidden within the darkness of these experiences. The world will constantly test you, hoping you will forget your own power, convincing you that your depth is too intimidating and your fire is too bright. Let this be your reminder that you are not lost. You are not broken. You are being forged. You are a feminine queen, not because you have a perfect, painless life, but because you have the wisdom and courage to face your life in its totality. You have the strength to sit in the throne room of silence, to decode the map of your jealousy, and to see divine redirection in every closed door. Your power is not in what happens to you, but in the regal way you choose to respond. It's in the conscious integration of your shadow, the metabolizing of your emotional storms, and the defiant act of becoming wholly and completely yourself. This is your work, and it is the most important work you will ever do. It is the art of building an inner kingdom so magnificent, so resilient, and so true, that the opinions of the outside world become little more than whispers in the wind. Thank you for joining us on this profound journey at Feminine Queen. If this message resonated deep within your soul, honor that connection, like this video, and more importantly, share your wisdom and experiences in the comments below. What was your biggest takeaway? How will you apply this to your own reign? Let's create a powerful dialogue. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss an opportunity to continue building your inner empire with us. Your engagement fuels this community and helps us reach more women who are ready to claim their crowns. Remember, a feminine queen is not born from ease. She is revealed in the fire. She is not given her power. She unearths it from within. Now, take a deep breath, feel the weight of your invisible crown, and go forward with the unshakable knowledge of who you are. Rule your world from the inside out, with grace, wisdom, and the quiet confidence of a woman who knows her own worth is non-negotiable. Until next time, reign on, reign.